Everything has to go through the old orange man bad filter these days, including, freaking violent death plagues. It is kind of sad. I'm going to go through some links. They'll still have biases to them, but you'll at least be able to see for yourself. But, if you're going on Fox News or CNN or MSNBC, the basic format is like you have two talking heads yelling at each other, and then like nothing's really accomplished, and it's here just to serve as to just one demographic, and so you're already seeing goofy shit like this. Because it all has to be about Trump, and Trump has brought the virus, or no, it's the Democrats, they made the fucking virus. It's all stupid shit. So let's go and look and see some alternatives here. These are the links that I personally like. This shit right here wasn't happening until about 2 weeks ago. It really wasn't really a big thing. As soon as there was a press conference, Trump did a press conference, things went to shit in the United States as far as information. And now you're like, well, what can you trust? And what's freaking hyperbolic bullshit? And what's overhype? And what's, just people putting their heads in the sand? It's really difficult to see. This right here is my favorite YouTuber on the situation. Is just some old British guy, and he sits there literally with a little face camera and just a pen and paper, and goes over the daily events. And he's like an old doctor, and when he talks to you, he feels like nice and smooth, and it just feels like it's your own doctor talking to you about this stuff. He's awesome, Dr. John Campbell. Another guy here is Peak Prosperity. Oh, Dr. John usually puts his stuff up in the morning. Peak Prosperity is a guy named Chris. He's going to go through usually it's going to be something around, fairly long. And there'll be daily updates of what's going on in the world. He's going to go through graphs and charts and stuff like that. And I recommend Peak Prosperity. It's a good source for the any kind of virus stuff. Now, if you just want like a one-stop shop, the our coronavirus subreddit is pretty dang good. Now, when you get this here, it's pretty much anybody putting anything up, and so this could be just a host of misinformation or a host of politics. The moderators are trying to lock the shit down. It's really difficult to see what's going on. You just can click this little new tab, and you'll see what's happening just recently, 1 minute ago, 1 minute ago, 2 minutes ago. And this, you could lose your mind going through this. You got 4,500 people online right now, either reading or putting topics up. You can filter the shit out. And they've also got some of the quick links. There's just real easy to use. On Twitter, the BNO News Case Tracker is a good place to look at the tracking information. Follow them on Twitter. You got the John Hopkins map, which is looking like it gives you a map of the world with the outbreak and cases numbers and things like that. And then New York Times has a very good map of the United States, but it's behind a paywall, unfortunately. This Reddit crowdsourced map, I mean, it was kind of flaky getting to it, but it has locations of like things like deaths or how severity of cases and things like that. I don't know how. It looked really good, but I'm not going to really show it because I'm thinking that this stuff, as it gets exponentially worse, she's like, how are they even going to be able to keep up with this? And then, if you're in the YOLO troll group, Mr. Metokur does streams every day, and that's really where I'll just usually watch his streams anyway, and that's really because he's been doing it for several months just on Corona. And it's his entertainment thing. It's trolly as fuck. But he doesn't actually post his streams. So you just want to Google search Mr. Metokur Streams, and you'll find people. This guy here, I use him. He'll put the Metokur Streams up so you can watch them. But I think let's try to get back, if it's even possible to get past Team Blue and Team Red. Let's look at the concept of sort of like freedom versus security. Maybe I could reframe it like that. You're going to have Italy is just locked down, northern Italy. It's something like 16 million people. The Chinese did the same thing in the Hubei province in Wuhan. And so that's something that's a lot of people's like, you need to lock things down, ban all travel, Nobody can do anything. No one go to any sports games. The sports games, like, maybe March Madness, they'll have March Madness, but it'll be in closed arenas with just the players. There's already football or soccer games going on like that in Italy. There's this attitude, we got to lock everything down, secure everything. And then you have on the other side, it's like sort of, I just want to live my life. I'm perfectly fine with what's going on. This is a nothing, brother. This is just a flu, bro. This is a vast overreaction. And of course, the security people are like, well, oh, you got your head in the sand and all that shit. This is sort of the dynamic you're going to see play out. And I think it's going to be up to the governor of Washington whether, are they going to lock down the state? It seems ridiculous, but that could be a thing that actually happens. Because Italy just did it. People would think, well, China is so authoritarian, and they're the only ones who can actually lock down 600 million people. You can't really, if someone's adamant about getting the fuck out, you're not going to be able to keep them in. But, I'm talking about martial law, essentially, to try to, stop this shit, because what will happen is your hospitals are just going to be overtaken with this crap, and it's like, oh, well, I'm a little sick, or I'm thinking I might have this shit. Who knows whether you can even get tested easily? And then who knows if there's going to be, there isn't going to be a hospital bed for you. It's like Ted Cruz has been self-quarantined. Well, it's like, well, why don't they just test him? He doesn't meet the criteria to be tested. He doesn't have any symptoms. So, he has to freaking just sit in his quarantine for 14 days. If he gets sick, then he could get tested. That's where we are right now. Maybe in a month or so, everybody who wants a test can get a test. And, it'll be free, or just, we'll just pay $10 or some shit like that. Something easy. Who knows? But start there and just start thinking about this whole concept of freedom versus security. We haven't had anything like that in discussion since, I would say, 9/11. And I forget, what was it, the Patriot Act? The Patriot Act was highly debated about this stuff. And then, years later, we found out that the NSA was freaking taking all our information and just hoarding that shit. And so we really do have debates. It's like, if you don't give a fuck, should you just go out and do whatever the hell you want? If you got it, fuck it, who cares? Or it should, the government step in and say, no, bro, you were getting locked in. There's never going to be a situation where they were welding people into their fucking houses like China. But that's something to think about. And over the next couple of weeks, it's like, well, how stringent should we be? And should the Olympics be postponed? That's some serious shit right there. But this month, we got March Madness. You have Easter next month. In the games world, we've got E3, and E3, isn't that in the LA Convention Center? LA's in the state of emergency right now. If this virus crap if it's seasonal, it'll go to the southern hemisphere, and so we've got 6 months of a relatively break before it comes back. It won't go away. It'll linger here, but it won't. I don't think the exponential growth outbreak might stop. Okay, but it'll be back during the fall, and then we could get better prepared than we are right now, and then deal with it then. Or it could just be a bastard this whole time. And if it does that, I think the projection is it will peak in June, and there'll be millions of cases by June. So we'll have to see. But you shouldn't try to, if somebody says, fuck it, I don't care, I don't think you should sit there and try to force because we're looking at political or religious type beliefs, or just people, just how they comprehend information now. And it's like, you're going to try to change their worldview on things like that. I wouldn't try to, you're just going to end up pissing off people. But Dr. Campbell, Peak Prosperity, and this here subreddit, it's a good place to find information, and you don't have to, don't have to deal with idiots on Twitter too much, and then, Facebook dumb tards. So I would look at kind of stuff like that. We'll see. There should be an explosion of cases now that, the United States is getting tested. But I'm not happy at all with this shit right here. It's really kind of weak on our part that we can't look past. But it's ingrained. I guess it's ingrained. This is political and religious. It's just straight up, your political points and your religious points, they're now the same. It's us versus them. and you just got to be a hardcore fan of being a Republican. You're got to be a hardcore fan of being a Democrat. And I guess if you're not one of them, I guess you're just wrecked. That's me, just wrecked. We'll see. I still think that it should be up to the states. The federal government is not up to the task at hand here. I mean, obviously, we'll see. I think Lord Trump needs to write checks to whatever state what needs to happen. That's the way I see it. We'll see. We'll see what's going on. But this is some crazy ass shit, isn't it, Brian? Huh? Yeah, Brian doesn't care. He's immune. He's a cat.